Waffles when you're trying to eat healthy? Yup. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a recipe for waffles that are gluten-free, whole food, plant-based, oil-free, and so delicious. I guarantee it's going to change your breakfast playlist, and anybody who's in your house, whether it's just you or you have family, they're going to be begging you to make waffles. If you stay till the very end, I'm going to share a PDF link that you can either print or save to your device. I'm so glad you're here. Let's dig in. First thing, I have to gather all my ingredients. Before I get started, I'm going to plug in the waffle iron and let it get hot. The great thing about this recipe is that all the ingredients get put right into the blender and mixed up, and that's the batter that you use. 1 cup of rolled oats. This is a 1/4 cup measure. I also add a 1/4 cup of Trader Joe's ancient grains, but you do not need to do that. You can simply just add another 1/4 cup of the rolled oats. 2 tablespoons of ground flax. This is the golden flax, which I happen to prefer, but even the darker flax will work. I make a plant-based buttermilk by mixing the plant-based milk and a 1/2 of a lemon. That was the grated peel of a 1/2 of a lemon. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 of a banana, which I'm slicing to make it easier for the blades. And this was a frozen banana. The frozen banana will defrost from the heat of the blade in the Vitamix. 3/4 of a cup of soy milk. You can use any plant milk. If you only have vanilla flavored plant milk, that works because this is a sweet recipe and the vanilla will enhance the flavor of the waffles. I just use unflavored soy milk and I add my own vanilla. 1/4 cup of water, 1/2 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. I like a little bit of sweetness in my batter, so I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla cream stevia drops. This is optional. You don't have to add this at all. 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And secret ingredient, aquafaba from a can of chickpeas. 2 tablespoons of the aquafaba. 1, 2. 2 heaping tablespoons frozen riced cauliflower. Maybe an extra one for good measure. You can see how flexible this recipe is. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of TVP, which is textured vegetable protein. Give it a little bit of a boost of plant-based protein. Also optional. Okay, let's whip this baby up. I want to show you how versatile this recipe is. While it's been blending for the last 45 seconds or so, I've decided to add some carrot. Chopped up a carrot into small pieces. I'll drop it in. Put the lid back on. On it goes again. Voila! This is a little bit thicker than I might like it. That carrot probably thickened it up. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. I'll blend that up again and see if that makes a difference. That made it more liquidy. This is a Cuisinart waffle maker. I will link it in the show notes below. I have the temperature lever all the way to the very lightest because this gets really hot, and I have found that the very lightest all the way to the very end is the best setting so that they don't burn. You'll notice that I'm not using any oil. I have never used oil on this waffle maker, and the waffles come out perfect. I don't measure, I just pour. I can go almost to the end of the little bumps. That's so technical, isn't it? If I do too much more, it'll spill out the sides. Down. And you have to learn your equipment. This is the indicator that tells you that the waffle maker is cooking. When it turns green, supposedly it's done. But this is what I've discovered. When the red light turns green, it's not quite ready. It needs to go through at least 2 cycles. That's for my particular waffle maker. Yours might be different, but I've learned doing this so many times that I have to let it go red, green, red, green, red, green. That way I know it's done. While the waffle is cooking, I'm going to get the blueberries ready. I'm going to get my coffee going. My husband made me my decaf coffee. The waffle maker is still red. It has not turned green yet. It just turned green, but I know it's not done yet. So I'm going to let it go for another cycle. And while that's happening, I'm going to take a half of a teaspoon of calcium citrate and put it in my soy milk. I will link this below as well. I'm going to just show you, if I lift this a little bit, see, you have to be tender, careful when you lift it, but you can usually tell if it's ready, if it doesn't stick. All right, so this is done. Oof, is that beautiful? There we go. Just within a couple of minutes of letting this sit, it gets a little bit thick again. So I add just a teeny tiny bit more water, blend it up, and then put it into the waffle iron. Okay, in it goes. It's green, but it's going to turn red. There it goes. And I'll let that go for a couple of cycles while I froth my milk. Woo! Isn't that beautiful? A little cinnamon. Remember I said you gently, tenderly, gingerly lift this up. No, I could tell it's not ready, so it probably needs another cycle. It's red. I'm going to wait for it to turn green before I try that again. This is done. And it's done. There we go. Let's add some blueberries. Raspberries. I'll add some of my homemade soy yogurt. Add some maple syrup. I'm going to add a little bit of extra flax meal. Good for omega-3s. I'm going to add a little bit of homemade granola. Voila, my breakfast is done. Doesn't that look delicious? Okay, I will leave the recipe in the show notes below. I will leave links in the show notes below. I'd love to know, what is your favorite topping for waffles? I'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button and make sure you don't miss any of my content. My name is Ellen Allard of Ellen's Healthy Kitchen, and it is my privilege to help you plant your plate one healthy meal at a time. I'll see you in the next video.